Do you know why every ancient civilization worshipped the exact same soft, practically useless rock? If you tried to craft a mighty sword or a heavy plow out of solid gold, it would bend instantly and fail completely. Yet, humans across the completely disconnected continents of Earth bowed down to it with an obsessive, almost feverish devotion. This soft metal offered zero practical survival value, providing neither food nor shelter to those who spent their entire lives digging it up. To understand this global cognitive anomaly, we have to realize that our minds are still running on software programmed 10,000 years ago. Let us examine the geographical impossibility of this shared obsession, starting with the scorching sands of ancient Egyptian empires. The pharaohs commanded thousands of laborers to extract this heavy yellow substance, treating it as the literal flesh of their sun gods. Meanwhile, entirely across the globe, the mighty Incas were doing the exact same thing deep within the isolated, towering Andean mountains. They referred to the luminous metal as the sweat of the sun, crafting elaborate religious artifacts to honor its unmistakable gleam. Even in ancient Asian empires, separated by vast oceans and endless deserts, the cultural reverence for this identical element was absolutely unshakable. Here lies the ultimate historical contradiction. These distant societies had absolutely zero physical contact and no ancient communication networks whatsoever. There was no globalized trade network or shared cultural exchange that could have spread this specific metallic obsession across the planet. Yet, like an invisible biological mandate, they all simultaneously crowned this soft, heavy element as the undisputed pinnacle of supreme wealth. Why did they ignore much stronger metals that could actually harvest crops or win brutal wars, just to hoard something so physically useless? To visualize this bizarre cognitive phenomenon, imagine a scattered field where wild creatures roam right past a pile of priceless treasure. A starving animal does not care about a glimmering rock. It only seeks calories, water, and shelter to ensure its immediate physical survival. But the human visual cortex is uniquely hijacked by this specific frequency of reflected yellow light, overriding our basic rational utility. This universal captivation was never a conscious economic choice made by wise ancient kings or clever early financial markets. It was a deeply ingrained physiological reflex, a hardwired evolutionary mechanism shared by every single member of our species across the globe. The visual processing centers in our minds are magnetically drawn to untarnishing, lustrous objects that mimic vital survival resources in nature. This means that kings, emperors, and modern consumers are all unknowingly reacting to the exact same primal, subconscious visual stimuli today. We think we control our desires, but we are often just biological puppets dancing to the tunes written millions of years ago. If you are fascinated by how your ancient mind is secretly controlling your everyday modern desires right this very second, hit that subscribe button right now to uncover more bizarre truths and evolutionary quirks hidden deep within your own head. Because the real reason our ancestors hoarded this shiny metal is far stranger than any historical textbook will ever tell you. Transport your mind exactly 300,000 years into the past, where our nomadic ancestors wandered across merciless, scorching plains. For these early humans, everyday existence was not about building grand monuments or acquiring vast fortunes. It was a brutal struggle for hydration. Survival meant rapidly scanning the endless horizon for one specific, life-saving visual cue. the unmistakable, shimmering reflection of clean water under the sun. Over countless generations, the human visual cortex became aggressively hyper-tuned to instantly detect glossy, reflective surfaces in the natural environment. This glossy gleam indicated that the water was fresh, moving, and entirely safe to drink, separating it from stagnant, disease-ridden mud pools. When sunlight hits a rippling liquid surface, it scatters a very specific frequency of warm, luminous light straight into our eager retinas. The moment our ancestors spotted this shimmering gleam, their nervous systems flooded with dopamine, rewarding them with an overwhelming surge of joy. Now imagine those same parched wanderers stumbling upon a heavy, yellow rock sitting at the bottom of a shallow, sunlit riverbed. Unlike iron that rusts or copper that oxidizes, this unique element remained eternally unblemished, maintaining its flawless, liquid-like luster against all odds. To the primitive visual cortex, the untarnishing yellow shine of this heavy metal perfectly mimicked the life-saving gleam of fresh, sunlit water. It bypassed rational thought entirely and instantly triggered the exact same deep-seated survival circuitry that successfully kept our fragile species alive. This global phenomenon was never an intentional financial invention. It was an unavoidable biological reflex that completely overwhelmed our basic sensory processing. As societies grew infinitely more complex, we assigned a lofty monetary label to this primal craving, calling it ultimate wealth and absolute power. We buried it deep in heavily guarded underground vaults, treating it as the foundational anchor of our entire modern global economy. Yet if you strip away the centuries of royal decrees and complex economic theories, you are left with a startlingly primitive and raw truth. Even today, when we press our faces against a luxury storefront to admire a diamond-encrusted ring or a shimmering golden necklace, we are not making a rational, calculated decision about material durability or market scarcity. We are entirely yielding to an ancient, hardwired impulse. Our sophisticated, modern minds are still utterly captivated by the exact same visual frequencies that successfully guided our nomadic ancestors through the deserts. The shiny surface acts as a relentless visual magnet, a shimmering mirage that our evolutionary programming physically cannot allow us to simply ignore. This element did not conquer humanity through superior practical utility. It conquered us by hacking the very visual system we desperately needed to survive. In the end, the ultimate value of this lustrous metal is not truly buried deep within the Earth's crust, nor is it validated by banking reserves. It is merely a beautiful, lingering echo of a desperate primate searching for a shimmering drink of fresh water under a blazing sun. The next time you find yourself entirely mesmerized by a piece of gleaming jewelry, pause and recognize the ancient software running right behind your eyes. Because understanding exactly how your own biology subtly steers your everyday desires is the first true step toward mastering your psychological freedom. Thank you for exploring the bizarre labyrinth of the human mind with us, and we will eagerly see you in the next fascinating descent.